guys, how you going? We are off to the Territory Wildlife Park today with the kids. One of our friends, it's her daughter's birthday today, so we're taking them out for the day to the Territory Wildlife Park, guys. So we look forward to sharing this all with you guys. This is the Territory Wildlife Park entrance. Good day. Alright, we are getting on the train. Woo. Get on the train, mate.
Dave, are you right up there?
All aboard, everybody, thank you. Alright, we're all ready to go, everyone's sitting down.
Our first encounter was with wallabies. We were able to hand feed them and pat them. Their fur was so soft to touch. They were pretty amazing.
They're quite protected, really.
I thought they would be really like coarse sort of.
Yeah, well the antelopines are very soft, but
yeah. Our next stop was the Nocturnal House. There were so many animals to see: bats, snakes, bandicoots, voles, just to name a few.
These guys are so noisy at night. It is absolutely ridiculous.
So we're now at the water buffalo. They were so interesting to watch. They love to go for a swim, but as we found out, they can be such a pest. They can cause so much damage to our environment. The water buffalo is found up the top end of Northern Territory. Many native wetlands, flora and fauna fail to thrive in all the muddied or salt polluted water from their wallows, trails, dung, trampling and disturbance. It caused soil erosion, channeling and floodwaters, increased in intrusion of salt water into fresh water, habitats and destruction of wetland vegetation. Many animals lost their habitats because of the water buffalo. We are now heading to the flight deck show. This was such an amazing bird show to learn so much about the birds up here in the top end.
Good morning. Well, hello and welcome down to the flight deck. So my name's Tristan, and I'm going to introduce you guys to a whole range of different kinds of birds that we can find out here. Species that really specialise in just staying within one sort of habitat group. Then we're going to have a look at others that sort of will venture throughout. So we're going to have a look at some specialist sort of birds and then some generalist birds as well, which is pretty cool. Now we're going to start our adventure more so within our monsoon forest or the thicker woodland habitats. Now within these habitat groups we've got a pretty good diversity, especially when it comes to pollination as such and all those flowering sort of trees. Within the treetops we get quite a diversity of different kinds of bird life, and some of them include our parrot species. So these are called red-collared lorikeets, and they're one of two different species of lorikeets found in our top end. The other ones are varied lorikeets. Now red collards look very similar to rainbow lorikeets. They are a different sort of species, like a rainbow lorikeet's cousin. And they've just got that sort of orange band on their neck compared to a lime green colour that the rainbow lorikeets have. But they play exactly the same role in ecosystems as any of the other small parrot species. They're our pollinators. So as they go around feeding on all those flowers, they're getting pollen brushed on them. And as they go through the forest, they're cross-pollinating and making sure the biodiversity and the health of those forests is quite good. See ya. So they're very cute little things, crazy noisy. Within our parrot species, they're like the teenagers of the bird world. Their priorities in life are socialising and feeding. So pretty much when it comes to nesting, with 80% of parrots worldwide, they're not building their own nests. So they're too busy in the day feeding on all the flowers. As you can imagine, there's probably not a lot of nectar in flowers unless it's like a big banksia or something like that. So for parrots or lorikeets, they're needing to spend all their day feeding to fill up their little bellies. Now, tree hollows form amazing sort of benefits to habitat. So if we're protecting habitats to increase these numbers of birds, protect the dead trees as well as the alive ones. And we do have an example of a tree hollow at the back on that tin fence there. Can everyone see that tree hollow? The tree hollows like that are essential to not only sort of parrot species, but possums and sugar gliders and all kinds of different animals. Now, that one's probably a bit big for a lorikeet, so we believe that something like a larger parrot, like a sulphur-crested cockatoo or red-tailed black, would benefit that one. Now, our lorikeets need to be a bit cautious when they're within these woodland habitats exploring tree hollows. They're very curious and like to explore them. But there's some other bird species that do use them that like to eat lorikeets. So within these big eucalyptus forests, lorikeets need to be very cautious of the hollows they select, because ours is actually home to something. Ours is home to a barn owl. Lorikeets definitely wouldn't want to run into a barn owl, would they? Hello, gorgeous. There's butterflies putting you off. Very good. So lorikeets are considered to be a specialist because they pretty much only feed on nectar and fruit. But barn owls are considered rodent specialists because they only really eat mice and rodents for their whole lives. Now, to be a specialist, you've got to have some pretty groovy adaptations that enable you to pretty much only feed on that select food item for your whole lives. And barn owls have quite a few adaptations. They might look very colourful, but we're going to have a bit of a closer look at her adaptations. So the first one we're going to look at is her feet. So she's good at catching those little mice and rodents. So 2 talons at the front, 2 talons at the back, giving her a cage-like grip. She's also... Now, as she's been flying over everyone's heads, it's pretty close, but have we heard any noises? So they have silent flight, and we're going to have another look at the flight now and see if we can hear anything as she flies over. So, but to locate the rodents, catch them, it's all pretty easy for barn owls. They're very well designed for that, but they don't want to just jump on down into the grass and scare her. They're going to hover. Good job. So that silent flight again means that they're not interfering with their hearing. They can just sit above what they think is a little mouse in the grass, and they can double check that it's a mouse before pouncing down. Very good. So an excellent form of natural pest control. If anyone has a little rodent problem around, you can encourage barn owls and other predators around simply by preserving habitat. So giving them accommodation or giving them cover to be able to hunt successfully is very beneficial. You can put little shallow water dishes up, sort of off the ground, away from toes, dead logs or rotting timber to feed on little insects. We're going to stick within these woodland habitats and look at some birds that will venture around on the ground quite a bit. They are considered to be more a ground dwelling species, but they are not quite nocturnal like a barn owl. So barn owls are considered to be nocturnal, but they're opportunistic and they're more than happy to come out during the day. Our next little dude is similar, but he's called a crepuscular species, so active in that dawn and dusk sort of period. This little bird is called a Pheasant Kugel. And Pheasant Kugels are very nervous by nature. Hey little dude. So as soon as he comes out, he's going to check the skies. So as he's flying around, watch his head. He's going to constantly be looking up at the sky and checking for any potential danger, aren't you? Very good. You going to do a little jump for us? Good job. Oh, you dropped your pea. Where is it? Good job. You're going to come over here? Very clever. So gorgeous little birds. As it's coming more towards our dry season now, he's molting out his black plumage. You can see he's sort of getting that speckled brown coming through on his chest. So that is his sort of dry season plumage. Well, you dropped your pea again. You ready to try another one? There you go. Good. There he is. It's an emu. So very iconic birds. So they are flightless because they're a ratite, member of the ratite family. Other birds in this family include our ostriches, so over in Africa. Then in Queensland we've got cassowaries, and then in New Zealand we've got little peewees, and they're all ratites. Now, they are still birds, they've all got feathers, but does everyone know that emus still have remnants of wings underneath all those feathers? You can probably just see them hanging down there. Let's see if you can show everyone what your wing looks like. There it is. That is his little wing. So that's not going to get you very high, is it? So, but very fast runners. Emus can run around about that sort of 50k mark. So very fast and capable of a decent kick. So good at protecting your nest here, aren't you? Now when it comes to the nests of emus, it's still the mums that lay the eggs. We all know that, mums lay the eggs. But it's the dads, so I've actually got a boy here. And it's the dads that do all of the incubation and they raise the young. So once the eggs are laid, dad chases mum away. He's got a very strong paternal instinct. And then he sits down and does all of the incubation. Very good, Mr. Dad. Nowhere near that egg, that's why he's only got one to look after. But still easily frightened birds, yeah? All birds are pretty nervous creatures. And still pretty timid, and the emus are no exception. There he goes, something's come and scared him off his nest. Sometimes when we re-mulch the arena or plant a new plant in here, that's enough for him. He walks out, sees something's changing, goes, look, this is too scary, and runs on home. So very sensitive birds. Emus aren't really common up here. Who here's seen an emu within the last couple of months? Not up here. Sometimes you get some. You do sort of get them around Litchfield and stuff. Occasionally this time of year, more in the dry season again. And the reason we believe we don't have very many emus up here is the sort of number and frequency of bushfires. So that sort of pushes them more down south. Not very good for raising eggs if there's a lot of bushfires up here. Does it? So they are classed as an egg specialist. So very short, squared off tail, long legs and chicken-like feet, very short, stocky body, because they're spending a lot of time on the ground. So little vultures they are. That's how you've worked out how to break that shell. Very clever. So that behaviour in black-breasted buzzards, the behaviour of picking up a tool or using a tool to break in, purely instinct. We never taught her how to do that. All we did is make a bit of a fake egg, chucked a few rocks on the ground, and she knows how to do it all by herself. We never had to teach her. It's just ingrained in them. So incredible birds. So once she breaks that exterior, it's a nice hard egg today. She can then use her beak and sort of make that little hole on top and then lap up all the content of a nice big emu egg.
But you've got to go find her different.
Change your rock. That's it, that one might be better. I think it's just your aim today, Missy.
That's a crank up.
Oh, there you go, good job.
It doesn't give up, does
So
it?
obviously we've made this egg, it's not a real one. It's got a little treat inside there for her to show her that she's done a good job. but we also taught her a little extra trick, and that's to bring back her rubbish. Thank you. Now, we're going to send her home, but as she's flying, check out her wings. She's got very prominent white windows in her wings, those 2 white spots. And those white windows are the identifying feature of buzzards up here. So sometimes, because they are a larger bird species, very broad wings but a short squared off tail, some people do mistake them for eagles or larger birds of prey. But if you do look up, short squared off tail, big wings and very prominent white windows, you know it's a black-breasted buzzard. So that's how you can tell them apart. Now, we're going to move off into a raptor species that loves our wetlands now. We're going to move off to some water, because all of our birds would love a bit of a bath getting it to this time of the day. But what we're going to bring out is a species that's really closely related to buzzards. So they're not related to eagles, they're more closely related to our kite species. So a lot of people have probably already seen kites today, black and whistling kites all down the highway, they're everywhere. So they're like the scavengers or the clean-up crew. What kites are good at is being energy efficient. So when our boy comes out, which is a Barramundi kite, he's going to show you a couple of his little tricks. We'll see how he goes this morning. So loves the waterways because he has learned how to fish, but water up in the territory is a bit dangerous. You don't want to just go swimming anywhere because there's lots of crocodiles. So when he comes out, he just utilises the surface. Where have you gone today? You might be taking a scenic route into the arena. Joys of a free flight bird show, hey? Here he comes. Oh, hello. How are you, mister? You good? You going to show everyone how you fish? Yeah. So very agile birds, broad wings and broad tail. And all of our kites can snatch food, but only Barramundi kites and whistling kites up sort of this way can snatch off the surface of water, so they're very agile. Yes, not getting his feathers wet. If he was to get his feathers wet, he doesn't have the strength to get out. So if he was wet, he'd have to swing to the bank and then use his wings and then dry them off before he could then take flight again. So he'd be a crocodile's breakfast, no worries at all.
Here it comes.
You joining us? Come on. Good job. You ready? Here you go. Good job. So off the surface of the water, pretty cool. Off the ground, no worries at all. You see if he wants to snatch the last little bit off the grass here. But then his next little trick is called hawking. That's a behaviour again that all kites can demonstrate.
Yeah, I know what it's
Can you catch this one off the ground? Here you go. Can you see it? There it is. Good job. So he snatched it off the ground. See if he stays on the wing. Come on. Oh, he's landed again. That doesn't help my spiel, mister. Cool. So hawking, basically catching it in the air, which is pretty easy for kites. Now, one of the things that all kites do, again, hawking, catching food mid-air, but all kites will also eat it on the wing. So he's not demonstrating that at all this morning. We'll see if we can pull your loops in a bit tighter and see if we can get you eating on the wing. You ready? Good. Gonna eat it on the wing. There you go, good job. Again, perfect. Oh, that was a bit low for you, was it? Are you ready? Here. Good.
Oh, he just caught it.
Good. So eating on the wing guarantees him that food. All kites will steal food off one another, so it guarantees him that meal. But it also is a bit of a tactic to save energy. So landing and taking off uses the most energy for flight. You can tell our boy has some spare energy. He doesn't need to eat on the wing. Come on, here. Not quite home time yet. You're being cheeky. Good job. You ready? Good job. And you're landing again. Excellent. Alrighty, little dude. So the areas you can find Barramundi kites include sort of those coastal regions around our mangrove habitats, are a bit of a smorgasbord for them. And when those mudflats get exposed, it just creates, a never-ending food supply for them. So mangroves being fish nurseries and ecosystems, lots of baby fish inside them. Tide goes out, you've got mud skippers and crabs and little crustaceans. So they love those coastal areas. Pretty much like flying tackle boxes. They've got pretty groovy skin on the bottoms of their feet, so they can, and a bit rougher and a bit sharper to hold on to fish. Their talons themselves are very long, very slender, and very sharp, so very good at holding on to those slippery fish. Hello, you looking?
He's all the way up there.
Good job. He's a little different than the Barramundi kite. He's not afraid to get wet.
Yeah, what they do.
So he's got an oil gland on his back. Waterproof plumage, he's got naturally polarised vision so he can see the fish. He's got extra flexible sort of tendons and muscles within his wings. He can fold them right back till the wingtips touch. And he's strong enough to pull himself up out of the water even while he's wet. So Barramundi kites, no way could do that. Barramundi kites and most other raptors can carry sort of about a quarter or less of their body weight quite comfortably. Ospreys can carry their own body weight mid-air for quite a long period of time. So they're pretty much the world's strongest raptor. They're quite unique. But he's a bit of an old boy, likes to eat in private, so he likes to go and hide out the back, and he also takes his time when he eats. So we've strategically placed him at the end of our show, because who knows when he's going to come home now. But I hope everyone enjoyed. Hope you learned a thing or two about some birds up here.
It's a wedge-tailed eagle nest. Sorry, again. Okay, I'm in the aquarium.
Welcome to the...
Hi.
Oh, hi, Connie.
Wait until you come in here.
I'll open the door.
Welcome to the Sandbar, guys. My name's Mark. I am one of the actors here on park, and it is my job to tell you a little bit about the fish that we have here. Now, the Ulu Sandbar is based on the Ulu Sandbar crossing out at the Daly River. Absolutely beautiful out there, wide variety of different birds, mammals, fish and reptiles. Kids, can you see any reptiles here today? Yeah? What can you see? Is there a crocodile in here? No? Are you sure?
There's one right there, but that's fake.
That is a fake one, luckily. I'm about 87% sure there's not a real crocodile in here. We'll see how the show goes on. Shouldn't be knee deep in here if there was a crocodile, but I'm pretty sure I'm safe. Now, I'm going to move straight into our fish. Does anybody know what this fish's name is?
Barramundi.
Barramundi, you're close. That one's name is George. You are right though, these guys are our big barramundi. We have about 12 of them in here, and what I am getting them to do is called a book. Now, we've named it after exactly how it sounds. That was a really good one then. And what's happening here is the barrows opening their mouth as wide as they can, as fast as they can, and it causes a big implosion or a big vacuum. Now the force of this implosion is strong enough to knock out, if not killing, their prey item. But thankfully, I don't have to worry about losing any fingers whilst doing this. Barramundi don't have any teeth, they just have very rough gums, kind of like sandpaper. The worst that can happen is I might lose a little bit of skin off my fingers. Now they are opportunistic feeders. They pretty much eat anything that they can fit into that mouth of theirs, and they can eat anywhere up to about 60% of their body length all in one go. A nice tasty meal. Now they're looking really nice and hungry today, which is great for you guys, but we actually fluctuate their food depending on the time of year. Now fish, their body temperature is the exact same temperature as the water. It always will be. So for every 5 degrees that the water temperature drops, their metabolism will drop by 50%. So in the build-up, which is our hottest time of year, these guys can be anywhere on the barramundi alone, 1.5 kilograms of fish per day. Our rays can be anywhere up to about 2.5 kilograms of fish per day. But because we've had a little bit of rain over the week, we've had to adjust their food a little bit this week. And currently the barramundi are only getting about 600 grams of fish. That's all they want to eat really. And as it starts to warm up a little bit more, we'll adjust their food.
How big can they get?
How big can they get? Good question. They can get roughly, these guys, they get mixed up with the Asian sea bass sometimes, which can get up to 1.8 meters. These guys, 1.2, 1.3 meters they can roughly get up to. You'd be lucky to catch a 1.2 metre on your line, because most of the time the big salties pick them off before you can find them. Alrighty, I'll move on to one of my favourite fish in here. These guys have a lot of character, and they are our archer fish. Hopefully they do the job today. We are starting to get some rain, which throws them off sometimes. You going to perform today? I've got you a nice tasty prawn. No, you don't want the prawn today.
The stingray's like high, Bill.
You will. You feel like prawn? They're even cooked. Well, I want to move on to our archfish. I know they don't like hanging around when the rays come and annoy me in the barramundi, but we'll see if we can get them in. These guys, they have a really cool adaptation. They can spit water. Come on, are you going to come in? I know you guys want to. Are you feeling the cold a little bit as well? It has warmed up a little bit over the last day or two. Come on. Don't leave me. Spit anywhere up to about 2 to 4 meters and are pretty much 100% accurate up to about a meter. They know how to do this from when they hatch out of the egg. You want to think about spitting? No? But they have to learn how to aim because they have to account for light refraction. When light hits the water, it bends. So through trial and error, they get to pretty much spot on. Now their eyesight is so good they can actually recognise up to about 40 different faces.
There he goes. Oh wow.
Told you that they spit. So up to about 40 different faces a university found out. Can you go for me again? That explains why one of the actors out here, each time he comes and does the Ulu sandbar talk, they don't aim for the food, they aim for his eye. They don't like him very much. You don't want to go again? You're hanging around. Yes, they're hanging around trying to steal their food.
How do they spit water?
They stick their snout out of the water, push their tongue against the roof of their mouth. They have a bowl-like bottom lip, which makes like a rifle barrel mixed with that tongue pushed up against the roof of their mouth, and they'll snap their gill covers shut.
That's full
Yep.
on.
Can they spit as high as you?
Can they spit as high as me? They can spit even higher. Even higher than me. About double my height. They can cut in. Well, now I want to talk about the stars of our show, and again, they are not cooperating with me either. I knew it was going to be one of
fish she's trying to look for.
Yeah, I know.
It's over there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, at the edge. Like on the...
They were in the big tank too, the tarpon. I've got some...
Oh, no, the one he's trying to find, they're over there.
Does anybody know that Australia had freshwater rays before coming here today? No?
No.
So they were discovered in 1989 in the Daly River and described as their own species in 2008. What are you doing? Come this way for me. You're going the wrong way. So we're still learning quite a lot about them since they were discovered or described as their own species in 2008. Where they live, in places such as the Adelaide River, the Daly River, the South Alligator and East Alligator, all those places have one thing in common. That's a very high density of saltwater crocodiles. So no one really wants to do any research, diving research on them, but the research that they are
The stingray's eagle, yep, see? Right
is
now
tracking research to find out where these guys go. So as I said, they are our only ray in Australia that lives their entire life in fresh water, but we do know that they can venture into brackish water, so where fresh waterways meet the ocean, they'll venture to, but they will never go into full salt. Now, up until 2008, they were thought to be a subspecies of the giant freshwater ray that lives in Southeast Asian waters. Those guys can get anywhere up to about 6 meters across. They are a very large species of ray, but the largest is the manta ray. They can get to 8 meters plus across. If I remember rightly, one can get to about 12 meters across. So, quite a large species of ray. What I'm getting these guys to do, or what Geraldine just showed off then, is completely natural. They drive fish into the shallows. Once they get to the shallows, the fish are trapped. They turn around, swim straight underneath the ray, and the ray traps them under that large disc-like body.
Right, that was the Territory Wildlife Park. What did everyone think?
Ew!
Good?
Oh, best day ever.
Kids?
Highly recommend.
What did everyone reckon?
Love it.
Love it? Kids?
Did you like it? Did you like
What did you think of the Territory Wildlife Park?
Ew!
Yeah?
Awesome!
Awesome. Definitely come and see this place. Well worth it. Train rides. The only problem is they didn't have a crocodile today, which is a little bit disappointing, but some seriously cool stuff.
No.
Highly recommend if you're up in the Territory. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed our video. Cheers.
Ew.